Don't let Donald Trump shake your confidence in the fight against climate change. This battle is far from over, despite the obstacles. Over the last 10 years, the United States harnessed innovative technologies that bolstered our economy, created well-paying union jobs, improved the quality of our air and water, preserved our invaluable natural resources, and helped families save money nationwide. But now the nation seems to be stepping back, effectively handing the reins to China, which is moving ahead to dominate the global clean energy market. It's no wonder many are left wondering, how did we get here? Our current president has a clear fixation on fossil fuels. He's determined to revive an industry, coal, that is widely acknowledged as in decline, all while ignoring the significant health risks, environmental damage, and economic consequences stemming from the climate crisis. On top of that, his unpredictable threats to impose higher tariffs on nearly all our traditional allies have left the U.S. increasingly isolated and heightened risks to international security. Shortly before devastating floods hit Texas, North Carolina, and New Mexico, the president signed a massive budget bill that overlooked the escalating dangers posed by climate change to communities. It also cut crucial healthcare funding, raised energy costs for families, and compromised public safety. At the same time, actions such as executive orders, announcements from the Environmental Protection Agency, and efforts to weaken our federal workforce show a troubling disconnect. It's clear that federal leaders aren't prioritizing the interests and well-being of everyday Americans. But here's the part many people miss. I've never been one to give up, especially when it comes to protecting my children and grandchildren, and I am far from alone. Millions of Americans across the country refuse to allow this administration to dictate our environmental future, whether here at home or globally. We simply won't accept this as the defining era for the United States. Across states and institutions, the fight continues, through court challenges and grassroots action. Whenever the administration chooses to ignore scientific evidence or undermine federal safeguards designed to protect our families and the environment, people still gather in local meetings, town halls, and public forums to raise their voices against rollbacks on air and water quality standards and pollution controls on power plants, which only increase the risks to public health. This is a battle for our survival, our communities, and our democracy. Thankfully, states, cities, and local communities still have the power to act decisively. They partner with industries to advance market innovation, deploy clean energy solutions that generate jobs, and reduce living costs for everyday families. Cities continue to upgrade to clean vehicle fleets and expand electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Tax incentives remain available for solar power, wind energy, and battery storage technologies. In fact, there are more than 10 years' worth of tax credits to support geothermal energy and storage projects for municipalities, schools, and health clinics, opportunities we must seize to drive a cleaner, greener future. Consider this: California, the world's fourth largest economy, operated on clean energy for nearly two-thirds of last year, 219 days. Florida surpassed California in building new large-scale solar power facilities last year. Even Texas, traditionally an oil and gas powerhouse, is setting new records in solar, wind, and battery capacity. Are these facts surprising? They should make us reconsider what energy leadership truly looks like. Over 40 states have established green banks or clean energy financing institutions to support sustainable projects. 24 of those states have committed to the ambitious goals of the Paris Climate Agreement, actively forging global partnerships with nations that recognize both the threat of climate change and the incredible opportunities presented by clean energy. On the international stage, U.S. leaders I've had the privilege to work with for decades continue collaborating with counterparts at the United Nations, European Union, India, China, development banks, and private sector partners. Their shared mission? To develop policies and strategies that mobilize the massive investments required for climate resilience and decarbonization worldwide. This effort is critical because the price we pay for inaction, whether in human suffering, environmental damage, or economic costs, is simply too great to ignore. Organizations like Bloomberg Philanthropies, through initiatives such as America is All In, have ensured America keeps a voice at the global climate table. Partnering with groups like the U.S. Climate Alliance and Climate Mayors, America is All In will participate in upcoming UN climate negotiations in Brazil, showcasing leadership in infrastructure, transportation, building efficiency, land use, and more. Mayors and governors will use this platform not only to influence international discussions, but also to build new alliances and pursue innovative financing solutions that accelerate clean energy projects at home. Meanwhile, forward-thinking U.S. investors are exploring how to combat serious food and water insecurity challenges in the world's most vulnerable regions. Here's where it gets controversial. Despite federal setbacks, 84% of corporations remain committed to reducing carbon emissions, and 37% are actually increasing their climate ambitions, according to PwC. Why? Because they recognize that pursuing climate solutions is not just good for the planet, but smart business. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, the U.S. clean energy sector saw $10 billion in domestic investment, the second best performance ever. Globally, clean technology investments are projected to hit $2.2 trillion this year, more than double spending on coal, gas, and oil combined. To keep the U.S. competitive, meet our growing energy needs, protect families from skyrocketing utility bills, and modernize outdated infrastructure, expanding clean energy, battery storage, and energy efficiency must be our priority, not cutting back. These technologies are not only environmentally sound, but also cheaper to build and operate than fossil fuel power plants. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, 93% of all new electricity generation capacity expected this year will come from solar, wind, and batteries, despite attempts by the current administration to prop up the fossil fuel industry. The facts speak for themselves. No matter how much this administration tries to cling to the past, U.S. states, cities, local communities, businesses, and institutions understand that the future is clear and clean energy-driven, not as redefined by President Trump. So what do you think? Are we right to keep pushing forward with clean energy? Or should the U.S. double down on fossil fuels despite the warnings? Share your thoughts below, because the debate is far from settled. Gina McCarthy, managing co-chair of America is All In, former White House National Climate Advisor, and 13th Administrator of the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency.